Hey guys, I'm going to be showing you how to make pasta today. It's just a simple pasta, white flour, eggs, real easy, real simple base. Let's get started. So I'll take 2 cups of all-purpose flour and measure that up. Most people would pile it on the counter. I don't do that because it's a mess. And I would rather not clean up the mess. So I do it right in the mixing bowl, because that's where I'm going to be mixing it anyway. The tools I'm going to be using, I will be using my hands, one measuring cup. I have a KitchenAid Professional 5 Plus mixer. Any KitchenAid will work, as long as it has the dough hook attachment for the mixer. Show you how to put that on. Fork to mix the egg in with, and yeah, the bowl. So got 2 cups of flour in here. Take a little bit of salt. Any kind of not coarse grain salt will work fine for this. I prefer the kosher salt. I'll take about a tablespoon. Just a little more than a tablespoon. I'll take about a tablespoon. Put that bad boy in there. You can go less if you prefer less salty ingredients. We like our food to taste good, so we use salt and everything. I'll mix it up with my hands. Just kind of get that salt mixed into the flour before I add the egg in. So, like I said, real simple base. We'll use the flour, just regular all-purpose flour, the egg, some salt. Real simple, real easy, doesn't take long. You can add flavorings to this, any of your seasonings, any of your dry seasonings. Just take about a tablespoon of that for this recipe. Toss it in there, flavors it up real great. So these are large eggs, just regular chicken eggs. So in my bowl here, I'll take, if you can show, I take and make my well as I would if I did it on the counter. I take the well and I put it right in the center of my bowl here and kind of push all the flour up on the edges, so I have that nice deep well there. We can crack our eggs in and we can start mixing it right in the bowl there. So that's going to be one of our eggs. That'll be our second egg. Yep, I see I got a little piece in there. Happens to the best of us. Just make sure you get those out before you start mixing. Okay, we'll take our fork and go ahead and pop our yolk. Okay, and before we start pulling any of the flour to the center, we want to go ahead and start mixing those eggs up. It's just like scrambling eggs, really, but we're going to incorporate that flour nice, and we're going to do a nice stiff dough. Okay, so we've got our eggs kind of mixed up. You can see how they're starting to kind of form, that uniform yellow color. And then we start to pull a little bit of flour in from the sides there. Just a little bit at a time. The way it gets nice and mixed and everything kind of comes together. Okay, you can see I kind of pull a little bit more flour down as I go, as it kind of mixes up real good and isn't lumpy anymore. I'll pull a little bit more in and mix it up until it starts to form this nice pasty look. And we'll do that all the way up until all the flour gets combined into the egg there. So you can see I'm kind of not being as careful now that the egg's mixed in. See how it's kind of like a glue. Okay, and then I'll just kind of fold it in there. my fork and kind of press it in. We're going to knead that flour into that egg. We'll do that until most of the flour is wet or pulled into that mixture there. And at that point I can go ahead and start using my hands, kind of fold it in, knead it up. To me it doesn't feel like the dough is dry enough, so I'm going to put just a pinch of flour in there. Maybe a tablespoon. That's a little better. Not quite as sticky. You want this dough to be a stiff dough. Okay, you got to knead it a few times. Okay. It's a nice stiff dough, not wet, not sticky. You throw that back in there. I'll take my bowl and I'll put it on there. Make sure you got it seated all the way in. There we go. Okay, take our dough hook. If you can kind of zoom up under here, we'll take the notch and we'll put it over that notch there. If you've never used it before, you put it up over top of it and you spin it into the opening, drop it down, sits right in. On the Professional 5 Plus, we have a lifter instead of the traditional KitchenAid style. So I'll lift that up into place and I'll put it on setting 4. Now that's going to give it a good knead and it's not going to bind up the motor anytime it grabs. And we'll just let this roll for 8 to 10 minutes until you got a nice glossy dough and it's good and firm. It springs back when you touch it. Okay, so the pasta's been kneading for the last 8 minutes or so. I'm going to take our dough hook off. A nice dough ball there. See how when you press into it, it kind of pops back out a little bit. So what we'll do next is we'll take some plastic wrap here, or cling wrap, and pull that off. Now what I generally do is I'll just cover it up just like that, but what we'll do this time is lay that right on the counter and we'll wrap the actual dough ball up. So I'll just put it right in there, pull it over, bam, nice dough ball. Okay, so we'll let this dough ball rest for the next 30 minutes to an hour. And we'll do that so that the gluten relaxes in the dough and it's a lot easier to roll out, a lot easier to work with. And yeah, so that's that. That's making pasta. After you let this rest, you know, you can go ahead and roll it out, or if you've got a pasta machine, you can put it in the pasta machine and do it that way. If you want to learn how to hand roll pasta, you can watch our next video where I will have let this rest and I will show you how to hand roll our pasta. Thanks, we'll see you in the next video.